they said that the Jews is what? Is white. There's 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. But all they say is that they're the tribe of Judah. So where's the other 11? Where's Benjamin? Where's Levi? Where's Ephraim? Where's Manasseh? Where are they? That's why the Bible says they lie. They are not, and they're the synagogue of Satan. Right. Right here, or does he look like him?
Oh, right there.
Looks like the one on the left.
Yes.
Okay.
Inside of me.
Okay. Where can we read that in the Bible?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. Another question for you. Where do you see yourself on the sign? Or according to your father's side? So on the left, you got what God calls us: Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Ephraim, Manasseh. And on the right, you have what the world calls us through slavery and colonialism. The names that was changed. Judah. Okay. Okay. Go to Jeremiah 14:2. What color are the Jews?
What color are the Jews?
Jews? Yes.
They're white.
They're white? Okay. So we're going to read out the Bible. We're going to show you what color the Jews are. Because we was going over with the brother that the truth shall make you free, right? Now, our people have not been taught the truth of the Bible. Follow? Read that.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 14 and verse 2.
Read out.
Judah mourneth.
So you said, what tribe are you from?
Judah.
Judah. Read.
Judah mourneth.
So it says Judah mourneth. Judah is in mourning. Why?
And
because of the atrocities that they went through. Look at the sign. You see all these that we went through as a people? This is why Judah is in mourning. Read.
Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish.
And the gates thereof languish, because back in the old time, the leaders would be at the gate and instructing the people in the words in the Bible, teach them the law. That's the leaders of our people. It says they languish, meaning they fail. Because why? Who tried to rise up for us? What are some revolutionaries in the civil rights in the 60s that try to rise up for us?
Equal rights, equal pay.
Equal rights, equal pay through Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. But what? We still in the same conditions today. The same thing they was fighting for with the conditions, police brutality, those things still occur today. Years later, read.
And the gates thereof languish. They are black.
Hold on, they are what?
Black.
They are what?
Black.
So you said the Jews are white, but the Jews are what?
Black.
They are black
Unto the ground.
Onto the ground. Onto the ground. The same ground that Adam was made from. You follow? So the first man on the earth was black. So now, where do those people come from? Go to Revelation 2:9. How do those people get into the land? Why are today we calling the Jews? Why are we saying that they're white? You gotta ask yourself that question. That's all we see? Okay. Let's see what the Bible calls them.
The book of Revelation, chapter 2 and verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich.
So since I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. So you gotta ask yourself, hold on a second, we got it. You gotta ask yourself, if the Bible says you're in poverty, but you're rich, what does that mean?
I'm already rich.
You're rich.
And poverty is
what? We have
with
the
the
promises
world.
of the Bible.
Yeah.
Right? We have the promises. The covenant was given to us because we're the Jews. But we're in poverty, literally, because look where we live.
Right.
And wherever you go, the black and Hispanics and Native Americans are at the bottom. As a whole, we're at the bottom. Bring it out. Read.
I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy.
The blasphemy. What does blasphemy mean?
To abolish, like to throw out.
Okay. To lie. It's a lie. So the blasphemy of what?
Of them.
Of what?
Which say they are Jews.
Who's going around the planet Earth and calling themselves Jews?
White people.
White people. And what happens?
Which says they are Jews and are not.
And are what?
And are not.
And are what?
And are not.
And are not. And are not. Read.
But are the synagogue of Satan.
Synagogue of Satan. Because what? They changed the people of the book to be white. Go to 1 Maccabees 2:48. They changed the image of Christ to be white. You feel what I'm saying? They said that the Jews is what? Is what? There's 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. But all they say is that they're the tribe of Judah. So where's the other 11? Where's Benjamin? Where's Levi? Where's Ephraim? Where's Manasseh? Where are they? That's why the Bible says they lie. They are not, and they're the synagogue of Satan. Right.
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 48. So they recovered the law out of the hand of the Gentiles.
So we was warring with the people of the book. Read. we was warring with the Maccabees we was warring with the Greeks at this time. And what happened?
So they recovered the law
So we got our book back. And what happened?
out of the hand of the Gentiles
Gentiles, read.
and out of the hands of kings.
Uh-huh.
To suffer them that sinned to triumph.
Uh-huh. And when we got our book back, what do we see? Go to 348. So we was warring with them, right? Now we got our book back. And this is what we've seen in our book. Read.
The book of 1 Maccabees chapter 3 verse 48.
Uh-huh.
And laid open the book of the law.
So now you go into certain books and you see angels. You type it in. What do we see?
Wherein the heathen
The heathen, the other nations, the Greeks, the so-called white man, what did they do?
had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
They sought to paint the likeness of their image, not the image that God
We
is.
know that.
You get what I'm saying?
We know
they
that, yeah.
changed the image. Now, sis, why do you think they changed the image of Christ?
To give them control, to make them feel like they're in power. But we already know they're not.
Exactly. That's because what? If you change the image of Christ, you're saying that what? The
That
people
they're
of
the
God,
highest.
they're the highest.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's why they cut off our noses.
Go to Deuteronomy 33:29. You're exactly on point because if we come to you, if they came to us with the white image of Christ, they could justify them doing this to us because they say God looks like us, Jesus looks like us.
Right.
We're the people of the book.
But they do this out of anger because they're guilty. They don't know how to face it. They don't know how to. That's what they're doing right now.
Exactly.
They're just guilty.
Right. Read.
The book of Deuteronomy,
Uh-huh.
chapter 33 and verse 29.
Read it.
Happy art thou, O Israel.
Happy are thou, Israel. Why are we happy? Because what? The promises of the Bible belong to us. We all understand here that we're what? We're the Israelites.
Right.
That
That's right.
Christ is a black man. Read.
Happy art thou, O Israel,
Uh-huh.
who is like unto thee.
Who is like unto the so-called black Spanish and Native Americans? Who is like unto us? Whatever we do, we dominate in.
Yeah.
Right. We're the best at everything we do.
We take
Read.
scraps.
We invented everything. You look at black inventions, the AC, the refrigerator, the traffic light.
Right.
Everything that is created on this planet, we invented it.
That's why they're trying
Yeah,
to erase
right?
us.
Exactly. There is none like us. What? Read that again.
Who is like unto
Who
thee,
is like unto thee?
Right.
Who is like unto us? Sis?
None.
Nobody. Read.
O people,
Uh-huh.
saved by the Lord,
Read.
the shield of thy help,
Uh-huh.
and who is the sword of thy excellence.
Read. It's the
And,
part.
and thine enemies shall be found liars unto thee.
Who's the enemy?
The oppressors.
Who?
The white people who are oppressing us.
Exactly. Go to Psalms 82. Because we just read out of Revelations 2 and 9 that they was going to blaspheme and call themselves Jews.
Right.
Now we go to Deuteronomy, it says liars are found unto thee. Those are the liars. Psalms 83.
But that's why they
Start
cut
off
our
with what?
noses off of the statue.
Huh?
They cut our noses off of the statue because they didn't want us to know that it was us as the originators.
We will come back to that, sis, but guess what? The Egyptians, we're not Egyptians. That is not us. We was the slaves that was in Egypt.
Okay.
When you read the Bible and you go into Exodus, about the Passover, we just celebrated it. About the Passover
Right.
and about Moses, that we were slaves. It was a black race of people, a dark-skinned race of people, having another dark-skinned race of people in slavery. You follow?
Oh.
You get what I'm saying? But they did change the noses for a reason because if when you go back and you say, okay, if the people of Egypt was black, what does that make the people? What does that make Christ who fled into Egypt?
Right.
What does that make Moses who was mistaken for an Egyptian?
Right.
What does that make Paul who was mistaken for an Egyptian?
Right.
So if they change the nose to make the Egyptians white, then that means what? Now they're gonna start when the prophets is mistaken for an Egyptian, they're gonna be like, oh damn, nah, if the Egyptians is white, Christ is white, Paul is white, Moses is white. Go to Exodus 27. Andrew, what's up? What's going on? So right now we're going over that we are not the Egyptians. You feel me? We are not Egyptians.
So what book
Right.
are you
The Egyptians
reading?
are black, but we, the so-called black,
What
what book are we reading?
The book of Exodus, chapter 11, verse 7 from
Read
the
it out.
Bible.
Uh-huh.
But,
King
but
James Version Bible. Read.
book of Exodus, chapter 11, verse 7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his
A
tongue.
dog is going to the other nations because when you read Matthew 15, the Bible, Christ told the heathen woman that she's a dog. So the other nations is not going to be able to say anything against us. Read.
Against man or beast,
Uh-huh.
that ye may know how that the Lord doth put a difference between Egyptians and
Say
Israel.
what?
Put a difference between the Egyptians and
You
Israel.
had mentioned before about us being Egyptians, but the Bible the gods put a separation between the Israelites and the Egyptians. You follow? Because the Egyptians, yes, they are a dark-skinned race of people, but the Jews, the people that was brought over here on slavery, on slave ships, to Haiti, Jamaica, South America, America, those were a different race of people from them.
So what were the Egyptians?
We're gonna show you. We're gonna show you. They come from a man called Ham. Noah had 3 sons. We're about to get that. Yeah, Noah had 3 sons. Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Right? So Ham is the forefather of the African race. We come from Shem. You know when they say you're anti-Semitic? That's what that comes from. Oh, we come from Shem, so how are we anti-Semitic?
I seen that somewhere.
What is a nation? Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you. And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord